My first real wrestling experience actually came in 1999. I was just looking through the channels one night. I was real bored, didn't know what TV shows were on. And all of a sudden, The Rock was on TV. And he was just yelling and hollering about something. And I was like, what is he talking about? He was talking about laying the smack down on Triple H's candy ass and shoving his foot up this guy's ass. And I was like, wait a minute, this is pretty cool. Like, what's going on here? And the first ever match I saw, and I actually almost threw my TV, it was like an episode of Monday Night Raw. It was Triple H and The Rock in the main event, and D-Generation X came out and cost The Rock the match. I was furious. I was like, they can't do that. What's the referee gonna do? Like, is he gonna get involved? They ended the show and I couldn't help myself but to watch it again next week. And ever since then, I've just been hooked as a wrestling fan. It's a real hard one to decide, because I've seen so many classic matches. Like Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, WrestleMania 13. But then as a fan, like I said, watching The Rock and Triple H in 2000 on pay-per-view, that was some of my favorite matches. But I think all around, my favorite wrestling match of all time is WrestleMania 3 between Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and the Macho Man Randy Savage. I've done so much. I've been here since day one. Seen AEW run wild for 8 years, but I think the moment I'm most proud of was an anniversary when I cashed in the Money in the Bank Championship, became the All Action Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion, and formed the Foundation on that very same night. The Foundation was the biggest wrestling group in all of Australian wrestling. We had former WWE superstar Orlando Jordan, Chris Target, and Josh Page, and we were running wild ever since that moment. And as the leader of the Foundation, I'm very proud of that moment and creating that group to take other people's careers to the next level. Look, there's been a few. From a reaction point of view, the match I had with Rob Conway was one of my favorites in terms of crowd reaction. But I think, for me personally, as a wrestler, my best work was actually with James Grace. And I'm really torn between the I Quit match we had at Intensity and the match we had at Anniversary. But I think just wrestling-wise, myself versus James Grace at Anniversary is going to be my favorite match so far. I think a lot of people might call me crazy for this, but I honestly see myself versus John Cena as one of the biggest draws in Australian wrestling. I think not only that, but we could have a very entertaining match and tell a great story. So I know it's not a very common thing that most indie wrestlers probably talk about, but I honestly think myself and John Cena, that's going to sell some tickets. Well, it's been a huge year so far already in All Action Wrestling, but I think what everyone's really working so hard for is Super Clash coming up on November 23rd. There's going to be a plethora of former WWE and TNA talent in the house, and really my main goal right now is to take the guy that I train, Chris Target, and to capture the All Action Wrestling Tag Team Championships. Well, from a personal standpoint, this has been a huge year for All Action Wrestling. It seems every year we raise the bar, and the guys in it, we've got to keep working hard to 2014, make that a very memorable year. But really, it's watch your back, because the Foundation, you thought 2013 was a big year for us. That's going to be nothing compared to what happens next year.